It's important to understand how Ontario family law views the payment of child support and post-secondary costs for your children. Hi, my name is Thomas O'Malley. I'm an experienced family lawyer in Durham Region and the GTA. I gave the basic formula for the payment of child support and post-secondary costs in another video. In short, the Ontario family law usually has the adult child contribute a certain amount towards their university and college costs, and the parents pay the remaining amount on a proportionate to income basis. For example, the parents in a recent case had 2 adult children. One son attended university while he lived with his mother. The other son attended university in another city. The father earned $182,000 a year. The mother was unemployed, and she received $3,500 a month in spousal support from the husband. One son had investments of over $41,000, and the other son had investments of over $41,000 as well, as a result of a monetary gift from their grandfather. The Ontario Court of Appeal decided that the father had to continue to pay the regular child support amount under the child support guidelines to the mother for the adult child who was living at home and attending university. However, this adult child had to pay for his entire educational expenses for tuition, books, supplies, and parking. The Court of Appeal made this decision since this adult child had access to his investment funds to contribute a partial amount to his educational expenses. Plus he had employment income of $10,000 a year. This adult child would still be left with more than $30,000 in investments, even with paying for all his educational expenses. The Court of Appeal held that the father did not have to pay the full amount of child support pursuant to the child support guidelines for the adult child who was going to university in another city. He only had to pay child support that was equal to 1/3 the difference between the standard child support amount for one child and 2 children. This reflected the fact that this adult child was only home for 1/3 of the year during the summer months. Then the Court of Appeal decided that the parents had to pay for 1/2 of this adult child's educational expenses in proportion to their income, so that the father had to pay 77% of 1/2 of his son's educational expenses, and the mother had to pay 23% of these expenses. This adult child had to pay the other 1/2 of his educational expenses. He would also have to pay $22,000 in investments. He would have that amount, $22,000 in investments, after his graduation. The most important point is that a parent will in most cases not necessarily have to pay both standard child support amount under the child support guidelines and their proportionate share of the adult child's educational expenses. In this particular case, the Court of Appeal specifically rejected the mother's argument that the father be required to pay the full amount of child support pursuant to the child support guidelines, and also pay his proportionate share of his kids' educational expenses. In another case, the parents had an adult child who was attending a post-secondary institution. The father's income was $150,000 per year, and the mother earned $50,000 per year. The daughter would be attending post-secondary school in another city. The court accepted the following expenses as reasonable when the daughter was living away from home: rent, utilities, food, clothing, phone, internet, transportation, some miscellaneous expenses, books for school, and tuition. These expenses amounted to $12,600 for the 8-month period that the daughter would live away from home to attend post-secondary school. The court held that it was reasonable that the daughter contribute $5,000 of her summer employment income to her post-secondary school-related expenses. The court stressed that the post-secondary education was a full-time job itself, so that an adult child cannot be expected to work on a part-time or full-time basis while they are attending college or university. The court then explained that the mother and father had to pay the remaining $7,600 for their daughter's expenses on a proportionate to income basis. The father had to pay 75% of this amount, or $715 per month, for the 8 months that his daughter attended school away from home. The mother had to pay 25% of this amount, or $238 per month, for this 8-month period. The father also had to pay $300 per month to the mother during the 8-month school year, which helped the mother with her expenses of keeping a home for the child to come back to on weekends and holidays. The father had to pay the standard child support guideline amount of $1,254 per month for the 4 months when the daughter was at home, based on his annual income of $150,000. If the daughter lived away from home during the summer months, the daughter's living expenses of $1,170 would be apportioned between the parents, with the father paying $878 per month and the mother paying $292 per month. The father would continue to pay the mother the sum of $300 per month. You can see how complicated this really gets quickly. Make sure you spend some time with your family lawyer discussing this important issue in your separation or divorce. If you have any questions about your separation, divorce, or family law case, and you'd like our help, there's a few ways to contact our office. You can leave a message on my Facebook Law Office page, that's O'Malley Family Law. Visit my website at www.canadiandivorcelegaldadvice.com, or call me directly at 905-434-8837. We would be happy to speak to you. Oh, by the way, did you know you can protect your family law rights and get essential information on settling your family law issues with your former spouse with the daily, indispensable family law advice and tips at my free Facebook group? Go to Facebook and search Durham Region Separation and Divorce Legal Support Group in the top search bar. You'll find the group and join. Thanks for watching this video, and have a fantastic week.